welcome to another Sobering Truth podcast brought to you by Arkansas Family Coalition. We have myself and Iris as co-hosts today. And Iris, what are we going to be talking about?
I don't know. What do you want to talk about?
You want to talk about what happened down in Jonesboro, Main Street, or nearly
I
Main
think
Street
that's a
down in the
good place to
entertainment
start.
district? All right,
Yes.
go ahead. You want to begin, or you want me to
Oh, I
explain?
thought you were going to talk about it, but I think everybody now knows about it. As a matter of fact, I just read another report this morning from it was one of our alternate Facebook stations. It was Jonesboro Right Now or NEA Reports, and I'm sorry, I don't remember which one it was. What's wrong?
She's telling me to get closer to the mic.
Oh, okay. And they were talking about, and I had been wondering what happened to two victims, the ones who were beaten senseless. One of them has left the hospital and he's on the mend. I don't know if the other one's left the hospital. He is conscious again, and his parents say, or his relatives, the people with him or whatnot, say that he has regained consciousness, but he is not normal, and they think he may have brain damage. That he is, and I forget the term that they use, but it was that he's not functioning correctly.
And
So
this
we may have permanent brain damage on that kid.
and this comes from an entertainment district. Is that correct?
It was, yes, they had been downtown in the entertainment district, and I think, according to the records that I read, uh, it closed, they left, and then, if they were in an entertainment district and they had left Brick House, they didn't leave without having had some drinks and then ran into a group. And at this point, who knows who said what, who started it, but we have two people who were physically damaged and in a just a brawl, no other word for it. And that's what happens with entertainment districts. I
Let's
did.
let's briefly explain what an entertainment district is. It's a section of. I'm assuming it's the same any town that has one, but they don't block up. Well, they do actually block off a section of street or two, where people can walk around carrying their alcohol in open containers. Now, it's not enough just to allow uh, alcohol to be sold in a dry county, but then they have to make it where they can just kind of do what they want to, and walk around with it. And so it's usually a fairly small district. In Jonesboro, it's very small. Other places, because they have more room than downtown Jonesboro, uh, it can be
They
larger.
can be multiple streets, multiple
Yes,
blocks.
yes, right. And so that's basically what it is, a place to induce people to come and drink and carry around their alcohol.
I did some pretty extensive research on entertainment districts because I thought in all of this talking about it, I had actually done the research. Usually do. It was very superficial. So I started looking. And what it's supposed to be, what an entertainment district is supposed to be, is a collection of shops and restaurants and outdoor farmers markets. Even it's supposed to be kind of like a multiple use district. Um, and a lot of them do. I mean, they've got soap factories and all sorts of things. Uh, I think of like going to Branson, and it's got a lot of extras in it. And ours is what, 2 blocks long? Whereas I looked at the majority of them, like I said, can be multiple streets, multiple blocks within those streets. Ours is kind of real poor, pathetic excuse for an entertainment district
Absolutely.
because what we have, half a dozen, if we've got a half a dozen restaurants down there anymore, and a couple of bars, even one of the bars, closed because it couldn't function down there. So it's really kind of a sad situation as far as what they actually are calling an entertainment district. And have you looked at some of the problems that entertainment districts have around the country? Because this is not
I
new to
haven't had a chance to do
Arkansas,
that
and I
myself.
knew
I
that
know
you were.
that you did that, and I was
Mhm.
going to, but I didn't have a chance before we did this podcast. But this
Well, one of them speaks to what you've talked about
this is
all the
relevant
time.
to other places other than Jonesboro, because there are many places many places
Yes,
in Arkansas and many
yes.
places around the country. So they have the potential for the things that happen, like here in Jonesboro, with this
And we've
situation.
got a list. I've also looked, there are a lot of entertainment districts, towns that have shut theirs down because of situations like what happened to ours on a couple of weeks, what, 2, 3 weeks ago on Friday night. But the challenges to financial districts, number one, debt and revenue shortfalls. And I think this is definitely what's happened in Jonesboro. Many entertainment districts struggle to generate enough revenue to cover their initial development costs. For example, some districts have reported generating less than 1/3 of what it was needed to service their debts. Almost all of these places come in, restaurants and bars and whatnot, and they get debt. They're told by the realty people. I really do think this is what's happened. They're given this glowing idea that this is going to be a moneymaker, and that they're just going to, they're going to become millionaires if they, put these restaurants and stuff in. The problem is it doesn't happen, and they go bankrupt. And that's what's happened. How many, can you just off the top of your head say, Bob, how many down there have gone bankrupt,
I was trying to look through
or
my
at
little.
least quit
Uh,
functioning?
the We have this. And matter of fact, anybody who wants a copy of this book, we would send it as well as the little blue booklet, free of charge. This validates that this downtown area that they trying to develop economically through alcohol, and that's exactly what they try to do. That it's all about alcohol. It's total and complete failure. I think over 100 businesses have come and go in a number of years. It's just a complete failure. We told the city, I've given a copy of this book to the Jonesboro City Council. They know all this information. They just completely ignore it and keep trying to do things through alcohol to bring people downtown. And all they do is bring in the lower elements of society down there, and that does not develop
Well,
anything.
it's also ludicrous to me. Bring people to downtown. Downtown is what, 2 to 3 blocks?
It's the 200
And
to
we've got
300
an
blocks of
entire
Main Street.
city. We have an entire city surrounding this. And they haven't tried to do the same thing to the other parts of the city, which is one of the things that I thought was, gee, probably, possibly legally actionable, that the city has shown such favoritism toward a 2 or 3 block area downtown. One of the other problems with this is, um, they have led people to believe that there were overly optimistic projections. Initial financial forecasts often underestimate the challenges, leading to significant budget gaps and reliance on city funds to cover losses. It excludes local voices. A lot of the times these entertainment districts do. Who did they listen to when they chose to put this one, make our downtown an entertainment district? Who did they listen to? Did they listen to local voices, or all local voices? Or did they listen to the politically connected groups
That's what they
who,
listen to.
exactly, um, and that can lead to this community dissatisfaction. And I think we're seeing more dissatisfaction, or at least I am, with the people who contact me. Um, then there are also operational issues, which we've already talked about some. Policing and safety concerns. Increased nightlife can lead to higher crime rates and safety issue, necessitating more police resources to manage crowds and maintain order, and also a seasonable variability. Many entertainment districts see fluctuating attendance with peak activity during weekends or events, leaving them quiet and underutilized during off peak times, which causes the financial strain. Um, because single focus, they have a single use focus. We talk about our entertainment, and they're also going to be doing something down there this weekend. And I don't remember what it was. It was some kind of a city night out or something. But the urban planning and design flaws show up in a single use focus. Many districts concentrate heavily on entertainment, neglecting other uses, which can lead to a lack of attendance. The people show up on the weekends. The rest of the week, they don't get enough business to support themselves. That's what happens in a lot of other places, and I suspect strongly that's what's happening in Jonesboro.
That is absolutely what has happened in Jonesboro. They have tried. I don't have a list with me, but I've there's maybe a half a dozen things that they tried down there, and then they just fell apart. And one of them was to block off the street and have I forgot what, something on Friday night, totally failed. I mean, at least a half a dozen things, but it's, yes, they're depending, relying on things like that, and just like you said, that will not work if they don't have a regular customer base coming down there on a daily basis. It's not going to work. It'll never work, and it hadn't worked for Jonesboro. And when they first started in 2003, with putting alcohol down there, it's totally failed. More businesses have come and gone down there than you can count almost.
Yeah, and of course, one of the problems is it was never designed for that kind of the number of people that might access the place because parking. And I've been downtown. There are a couple of restaurants I have gone to downtown, and they're nice, but I can't walk far enough to have to park a block away. And other than that, you're dealing with parallel parking, which I can okay, but a lot of people can't. And so you've got a parking issue that has existed since downtown became downtown. So that's another problem is just getting down there and getting to the businesses and finding a place to park. So
Yeah,
that has led. Go ahead.
well, they rely on these restaurants primarily because there's basically nothing there but some law offices and maybe a couple of retail shop, a back shop, and one or two clothing places, and that's pretty much it, other than the restaurants. And with restaurants, people come at a certain time. So with no parking,
Right.
that makes it impossible for them to be able to accommodate people. And so whoever is doing all this that are not very bright. To be honest with you, they're not very bright at all.
Well, and this is just my opinion. I don't think it's an issue of being bright. I think it's just an issue of being dishonest.
Well, I
Because when
can't
you
argue with that.
promise people, when you get people to buy into stuff like this, to buy into putting a business downtown, and you lead them to believe that they're going to make a lot of money, first of all, I would want to, if I were putting a business down there, I would want to investigate who all's been down there, and seeing the number that have failed, I would avoid it. However, I just think it's irresponsible of real estate people to push, this situation down there. And then there are people who actually won't go downtown now that they've had the uh, entertainment district designation because they know that beginning Thursday through Saturday, they're going to have the alcohol, to contend with the alcohol. So,
Well,
and
with
I
me,
have been one of those people that went to a restaurant or was going to a restaurant, couldn't find a decent parking place, and just turned around and went somewhere else, over to Caraway Road or Red Wolf or someplace like that because I need to park fairly close. I don't want to have to walk a block. And that also encompasses some of the other offices down there. When I served jury duty, I had to walk a block to get to the courthouse. So that can be an issue too. They have not taken into consideration they need to improve their parking downtown before they do anything else.
and that's impossible because there's no place to do it. They'd have to start tearing down
Exactly.
buildings, and that defeats their purpose. There's one thing that for the Jonesboro thing, and we may want to venture out to some of these others. Uh, they are inconveniencing people who, like, if they get off from work on whatever days they close that off or whatever. That Main Street is a thoroughfare through from one side of Jonesboro. That there is a lot of traffic goes down that street to get from one side, and so when they block this off, people have to detour around, and it inconveniences them big time from going wherever they're going, and for those people who have entities, businesses, or drinking places, or whatever, in those two short blocks, they will inconvenience people from all over the city just to give them support or for their sake, and that is wrong as can be. Those people, there's no reason for the city to promote that the way they do. There's every reason for them to actually avoid it if they really had the intelligence they
Well,
should
they're
have.
they're too late now. They've already gone full bore because just this week there was an article in on KIT about how the city council had loosened the liquor permit laws for people coming in. Um, and you and I are familiar with the fact that when all of these laws were passed, one of the things they mandated was that if you were going to sell alcohol, it had to be a charitable organization. You had to develop a charitable organization, an LLC, and then you had to take names and all this kind of stuff in order to sell alcohol if you were a restaurant, if you were a chain restaurant, or anybody else. Isn't that correct?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
There were certain things you had to do. You had to have 100 members to start with, and
Mhm.
tell what you would give your uh, extra money
Your
to,
charity.
your charity.
You'd have to
Well, yeah, who would be
designate a
your
charity.
you donate to, and but apparently, from what I understand, you basically take that away, and you don't have to do much of
Well,
anything.
they've done that, and
I'm assuming that did anybody that wanted to sell alcohol, they do say they still have to sell food, but anybody that wanted to sell alcohol, put them in a little uh, place where they could accommodate 20 people and sell hot dogs or something like that, can get alcohol permit.
it's all up to the city council now.
City
So
council.
if you think that's a bad idea, people need to address their city council and say this is enough is enough. And I've got a quotation from that article that I think is really interesting, because what it does is basically remove all of the barriers to somebody getting an alcohol permit. They don't have to do any of that stuff. They just come to the council and say, "We want an alcohol permit for our Hot Dogs or Us, restaurant out there," and they can get it if the city council okays it. The problem with that is, and this was a quote from Johnson, Mr. Johnson, who owns Brick House and another restaurant. He said, "It makes the process of applying much easier and less convoluted and much more straightforward and much more normal as if it would be in any other type of wet county." They've already in their minds, Bob, made Jonesboro and
Right.
Craighead County a wet county
Right.
already.
Well, they've basically done
Excuse
that.
me. Despite the three votes that we've had that were not unanimous, but they were strong votes against it. There were never any of the votes that we've had that came close to making Craighead County dry, and yet we have these people that already in their minds have turned Craighead County and Jonesboro into a wet county, and have abrogated the votes of everyone who voted in those previous elections. And this goes all the way back to 1942, because every election since then, or every law passed since then, has basically been illegal based on that law. That was an initiated act by the people. The people of Arkansas in 1942 said, "We want counties to be able to determine whether or not they will be dry." And that's when a lot of this started. And every law since then, wouldn't you agree, has basically flouted that law. As a matter of
Everything.
fact,
Go
As a
ahead.
matter of fact, I had made that comment, and a legislator had responded that, "Boy, that sounds like a good idea, a good basis for a lawsuit." What's the problem with that, Bob?
Crooked judges.
Crooked judges, because it has been attempted at least twice, gone to the courts with the same issue, is that this flouts the 1942 law, and it flouts a lot of the other county elections where they've determined against alcohol. And so, how do you trust your county judges? How do you, not your county judges, this went to the Supreme Court of
Oh,
Arkansas. How do you trust those?
yeah. It,
What do our judges, how dare our judges say, "Oh, we don't care if it's a law, we're going to say it's okay"?
from your judges to your legislators to your city council here in Arkansas, and if these things happen like this in Arkansas, we know they're happening in other states because the alcohol
Oh,
people
absolutely.
always seem to get their way, and they treat people who are opposed to this as if they didn't exist. I went before the city council here in Jonesboro, and I gave them 8 good reasons why they could deny these, and when I got through, it was as if I had never been there. And that's the way they treat everybody. It just goes in one ear and out the other, I suppose. But for some reason, it's like you're not even on this earth. You don't exist if you're opposed to these things. It's that bad. And getting, if we don't do something about it, it'll get worse. Because what I'm wondering now, if since they now, this is the worst part about it. This is a dry county we're talking about, and these entertainment districts, and even in wet counties, folks, you need to get in there and pay attention and deal with them because they're going to cause trouble sooner or later. But it's to have these in a dry county is just, I can hardly think of the right. I can't think of the
It's
right
an
word.
insult to the people who vote. And Bob,
It's
this is just one of the
imbecilic.
things I was thinking about this morning. We are always told by the city, get out and vote, get out and vote. They give us a little sticker,
Right.
to wear after we vote. I voted. What is the point of voting when we've got people there that think, oh, no, that's not how we wanted you to vote. We're just going to do it the way we wanted to anyway.
Yeah. They, it, they're it's like I said. It's they treat you as if you didn't exist from the top to the bottom. And the only thing that's going to change this is for people to get really upset about it. And that's the only way anything changes. And this is so incredibly bad. I don't know why people are not, especially here in Arkansas and Craighead County, are not extremely upset about it. And people in other states, I know there are a lot of people in other states who see this type of thing going on, and they wonder what they can do about it. Well, we don't know exactly what we can do about it, but we're going to be doing things and we're going to be trying, and we will be sharing things hopefully in the future on our podcast and other through our website and mail outs of what things people can do to help alleviate these situations, to change them back. But they've got to understand the seriousness of it and get really upset about it before anything will be done. And I hope that we can encourage people to do that with information that we have on our podcast.
Okay, Bob, I wanted to continue because we've had I looked up several towns and cities that have had entertainment districts and found there were so many problems with it that they eliminated them. The
Right.
first one is Montgomery City Council suspended their downtown entertainment district after a deadly shootout. Sounds kind of like what we had minus the guns
Mm-hmm.
that Friday night. Left 2 dead and 14 injured. And they directly saw the relationship between the entertainment district and that particular entertainment district and what was going on. So they shut it down. Then Baltimore's Federal Hill business owners say crime is just worse in their entertainment district following the shooting of a 39-year-old woman. So they're looking at shutting theirs down. Then this one is more interesting because it involved a former legislator, Vic Snyder. In 2019, El Dorado became one of the first cities in Arkansas to authorize public drinking in an entertainment district. However, last year, the city council voted unanimously to shut down the district due to ongoing problems with fighting, vandalism, and other disorderly behavior. As Vic Snyder points out, authorizing alcohol in Little Rock's River Mountain Park, because they were talking about putting an entertainment district there, would have serious consequences for the area. And I looked up numerous, the others, they were exactly like this, the same problems: vandalism, violence, public intoxication, all of the problems that we know that we're going to see here if we haven't been. I haven't been down to the entertainment district Thursday, Friday, or Saturday, so I don't see it. I know some people have, and they were really disturbed by seeing parents with small children wandering around with open containers. My question is, how did they get home? Did they get in the car after drinking and drive home? Because that's
Uh,
what you're going to get
I'm
too.
sure they call the police or a taxi or something and say, "Well, I'm drunk, but I'm not able to drive, so I better be responsible." And well, if they were responsible, they wouldn't be drunk in the first place. So that's calling on people who drink to be responsible is kind of idiotic, in my opinion.
Okay, I think this next one involved Oklahoma, and it said, I'm just going to read some excerpts. While originally having many diverse purposes, the old market neighborhood, which became an entertainment district, is now mainly articulated around one function: entertainment and the odd antique shop. This would be tolerable if Omaha had other similar neighborhoods. They don't, and neither do most other American cities. That's why we can't be surrendering our best places over exclusively to entertainment. And of course, entertainment is a pseudonym for alcohol,
Correct.
where you can run around with alcohol openly. Um, so that's the issue. And then I also found, which I of course didn't print out because I'm not going to print out a 25-page paper, but it was a 25-page paper that I found that dealt specifically with entertainment districts of course, in the country, not just one particular city, but it was overall identifying the problems, identifying what needed to be done. And apparently, there's not an awful lot of solution except for shutting them down. And it makes you wonder why Jonesboro is always on the tail end of a dying fad, you know?
Well, I believe we've got a city council that is largely incompetent. And I don't care who hears this, but some of the decisions that, not just about this is the most blatant, I guess, but other things they're doing. But it's to do this again, flying in the face of the people, I mean, it's like every time they grant one of these, it's like slapping the people in the face. They might as well come out and literally slap you in the face because that's what it's doing, to insult the people this way. The people don't have enough intelligence to know what's good for them. That's apparently what the city council and whoever. But again, it's from the city council going back the other direction all the way to the legislature bills that they passed, and some of those have been misinterpreted by the ABC, all the way to the Supreme Court. A majority of the judges, anyway, and all of them, there was the dissenting views decision, but it's just again, that's why I'm so angry about it, and this is so incredible that we have to do something about it, because we can sit here when we can talk on this podcast or we can put out information, but folks out there, we actually have to do something. Just like with these other situations in the country that we're dealing with, we actually have to do something about it, and we are an activist organization, and we do plan on doing something.
Well, I think that's good. That's always hard to do on something like this because alcohol is so ubiquitous in our society today. And most people don't even think about, should it be allowed? Why are we allowing all of this alcohol that kills people, through various ways, and is just a total nuisance in a lot of ways, because so many people out there have a beer or a glass of wine when they come home. They don't see a problem with it. And
Let me tell
that's
you,
the
let
that's
me
the part that we need to get around.
Yeah, let me tell you about it. I got a call, I think it was yesterday or the day before, and a guy from a local church here in Jonesboro, and he was concerned about the people in his church thinking drinking was okay, and he was really
Yeah.
upset about it. And so that's what we're dealing with. Pastors, ministers, maybe a vast majority of the people in the church think it's okay, and I think they've been brainwashed by a lot of information through the years, and don't really know the details or how bad the situation is. But it's that's what we're dealing with. We're not talking about just secular people. We're talking about dealing, with the beliefs of the Christian community as well. So it's an uphill battle, but we must try. We have to try. We have to do something.
Well, I don't want to see the expansion of alcohol. This entertainment district bothers me because it resulted in an expansion of alcohol in here. And we've talked about before that our purpose at this point is to equate alcohol with tobacco. We're certainly not seeing tobacco, get any broader in acceptance because people looked at the damage it caused and the health problems it caused, the nuisance and annoyance. And that wasn't even anywhere near as bad as alcohol that causes deaths on the highway and other places. So what we'd like to see, or what I would like to see, is let's look at that and turn alcohol into tobacco as far as the way we look at it.
Oh, absolutely, and it absolutely worked on tobacco. The smoking is way down, and that's what we have to do, and let people know that the advertising quit. If we just quit promoting it, if we just quit
Right.
promoting, like you're talking about, that would stop a lot of it right there.
And that's what the entertainment district does, is it promotes it.
Promotes it, yeah, encourage it. Well, our time's about up. I think we got to just remind the people that we do have a website now that you can go to, arkansasfamilycoalition.org, and remember we've got some booklets that you can help read. We've got this little yellow booklet that shows how the entertainment districts in Jonesboro totally and completely failed, and we've got three publications total. And so if anybody's interested in those, they can call us at 870-910-0464 or get in touch with us, I believe, through the website, and we'll see that you get that information, because there's a lot of information that people need to know about, so they'll decide to do something about this situation. It is a crisis. alcohol situation in America is the crisis. So that's about ours. You got anything else before we go?
I think you've said it all, Bob.
Okay. Well, till the next time, have a good day.